Hi everybody, and welcome to our first official Yoga with Gina practice. This is a practice for the new moon, so this is about relaxing, resetting our systems, reflecting on things, letting things go. If you have any intentions that you want to set, you can focus on those during this practice. But we really want to do some self-care here. We really want to relax our body, relax our mind, release things that are bothering us or that we've been dwelling on. And we just want to get everything nice and relaxed. This is a great practice before bed. You can even do it in your bed. We're going to be on the floor the whole time. I've got a pillow here for some of the poses. You can grab a pillow, blanket, blocks, whatever you need to make your practice more comfortable. Grab a pet if you've got one. I'm sure they'll practice with you. And whenever you're ready, we're going to go ahead and get started. Go ahead and pause us if you need some time to grab props or whatever you want. When you are ready, go ahead and sit in a comfortable position, whatever's comfortable for you. It doesn't have to be with your legs crossed. Sit up nice and tall. Relax your shoulders down your back. Really connect to the floor. Close your eyes. Start to focus on your breathing. Put your hands in your lap or wherever is comfortable. If you have any thoughts that keep popping up in your mind, just welcome them and then release it. And then I want you to focus on your body. Just notice if you're tense, if you're holding any tension anywhere, any pain. You don't have to do anything with that right now. Just notice it and sit with it. Focus on your breath. When you're ready, go ahead and flutter your eyes open. We're going to take one deep breath up together. And bring our arms down through center. And while you're here, I want you to set an intention for this practice. So whatever it is, if there's something you want to release or let go of, if there's something that you've been stressing over or worrying about, just set an intention that you're going to release that during this practice, or whatever intention will serve you best during this practice. And go ahead and focus on that for just a minute. And when you're ready, go ahead and take another deep breath up. Bring your arms down. We're going to take one more deep breath up. I'm going to move my pillow out of the way. And come back down. This time we're going to breathe up. And then when we bring our arms down, we're just going to let our hands hover and open up our heart space. If you can comfortably get your fingertips on the floor, that's great. If it's uncomfortable or painful, you can put them up on blocks. Just let them hover. You really want to focus on dropping your shoulders and opening up through your chest and your heart space here. Tilt your chin up just a little bit. You don't want to feel any pain, just a nice stretch. You want to open your heart space to receiving good energy and releasing bad energy. When you're ready, take a breath up. And this time we're going to twist over to the right side. So your left hand is going to come to your right knee and your right hand is going to come behind you, right behind your bottom. If you can't twist that far, then only go as far as is comfortable. You don't want to crank or feel any pain. We're really just working to relax things tonight. We don't want to feel any major stretching. We don't want to chase any sensations. The cat is chasing something. We don't want to chase anything. Nice deep breaths. Make sure you're not holding any tension anywhere. Don't hold your breath. And when you're ready, take a breath up. And we'll take that same twist over to the right. Or I'm sorry, this would be our left. So your right hand is going to come to your left knee and your left hand is going to come behind you. If it's comfortable, you can look over your shoulder. No cranking, just a nice gentle twist. Nice deep breaths. When you're ready, twist back up to center. And bring your arms back down. And we're going to take our right arm out and you're going to flex your hand. So flex your fingertips towards your face. And we're going to tilt our ear towards that shoulder. If you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, you can bring this hand up to your ear. We should have had both hands out flexed. Go ahead and release that. And then with both hands flexed, you're going to tilt your left ear over to your left shoulder, shrug your left shoulder up toward your ear. Drop your right shoulder down. If this is good enough, then stay here. If you want a little more, you can bring your hand to your ear. Don't use your hand to pull your head down. Just use the weight of your hand. Go ahead and release that. And take another stretch up. And bring the hands back down. And then we're going to do some hip circles. So we store a lot of our emotion in our shoulders and our hips. So we just did some work to release our shoulders a bit. Now we're going to work on the hips a little bit. So you can start whichever direction is more comfortable. You can make small circles, you can make big circles, whatever feels good to you. So I'm going to start small. And when you tilt backward, just kind of round your spine. And then when you come forwards, bring your shoulders back and kind of puff your chest out, almost like a seated cat-cow. And you can make this movement as big or as small as feels good to you. Make sure you're breathing. Okay, we're going to stop and reverse our circle back in the other direction. Same thing, round your spine. Make sure your bottom isn't coming up off the floor either. If it is, then make your circle smaller. We really just want to release any tension in our hips, in our low back. And if this is hurting your hips or your low back, then go smaller. We don't want any pain. We're not chasing any sensations. We're just trying to release. One more circle. And we'll come back to center. And then from here, we're going to take our feet out in front of us. Bring our heels to touch. You can keep this out wider because we're not really trying to get a deep stretch here. This is supposed to just be relaxing. I'm going to use my pillow. So I'm just going to place it right in the middle here, right over top of my feet. And when we fold forward, typically we want to go with a flat back, but we're keeping our feet out further from us, and we're just going to let our spine round and let everything hang over the pillow or blankets, whatever props you're using. If you're not using any props, then just let everything hang down over your feet. You can put one ear down, you can put your forehead down, whatever's most comfortable. Make sure you're comfortable and you're not feeling any pain in this stretch, because we're going to hold it for a minute. So go ahead and round the spine and just let everything go. If you do put one ear down and we're about halfway through, I'll remind you to switch sides. Make sure you keep breathing. We're about halfway, so if you have one ear down, go ahead and switch to the other side. If you had your forehead down, you can just stay where you are. When you're ready, bring your hands to the floor and just walk yourself up gently. Roll your spine up one vertebrae at a time. Let your head come up last. Nice and slow. You can move the pillow off to the side just for a second here. So we're going to put our feet out in front of us, but we're not going to do a typical forward fold, because again, we're trying to just relax everything and release. So we're not going to flex our feet. This is going to be very similar to what we just did. So you're just going to kind of let your feet flop open to the side, let your knees bend. You can put the pillow back in the middle again. And we're not going to go flat back. We're just going to round our spine and let everything hang down over our pillow or whatever props you're using, and just relax and hold that for a few minutes. If you're feeling too much sensation in your hips or your lower back when you're doing this, build your props up higher so that you're sitting up higher. We don't want to feel any pain. You don't even really want to feel a deep stretch. You want to feel a nice release in your muscles. So when you're ready, go ahead and just let everything hang again. And again, if you had one ear down, go ahead and switch to the other side. Otherwise, just stay where you are. Okay, again, we're going to put the hands down by your knees. Walk yourself up. Unroll your spine one vertebrae at a time. Head comes up last. I'm going to move my pillow off to the side again, and we're going to come on to our knees. If you have bad knees and this is a difficult pose for you to get into, you can either lay down on your back and just take your knees towards your chest, or you can put blankets, towels, you can even roll your yoga mat over underneath your knees to prevent any pain in your knees. We don't want any pain during this practice. But we're going to come on to our knees. We're going to take a wide leg child's pose. So I've got my toes touching and my knees are about as wide as my mat. Only go as wide as is comfortable for you. This is going to get more into the hips than it is into the low back as a regular child's pose would. And I'm going to use my pillow just to relax over, because again, we're not trying to force any deep stretching here. We just want to feel a nice release and relaxation here. So when you're ready, when you've got everything set up the way that you want it, go ahead and fold forward over your props. If your hips are really tight and your bottom is coming up off of your feet, you can put a pillow under your bottom, between your bottom and your feet, or a blanket, a block, anything, so that you have something to support yourself and sit on. And then just go ahead and relax. Make sure you're not holding any tension anywhere. Make sure you're not holding your breath. If you have one ear down, go ahead and switch to the other side. Batman has joined us for yoga. When you're ready, go ahead and turn your head forwards. Place your hands on the mat. Use your hands to walk yourself back up to seated. We're going to move the pillow off to the side. We're going to come back off of our knees. And then we are going to take our feet. We're going to keep our knees bent. Take your feet about as wide as your mat. Again, if that's uncomfortable, go wider or closer, whatever you need to do. You can start this from laying down with your feet as wide as your mat. If you're comfortable supporting yourself with your hands behind you, go ahead and start like that. And we're just going to windshield wiper our knees. You don't have to touch the floor. Again, we don't want to chase any sensations. We're just trying to loosen up our hips, release any tension, release any stuck emotion that's stuck in our hips. So nice and gentle movements, nothing forced. If you're not laying down already, go ahead and work your way down. I'm going to come down onto my elbows first. And you'll notice the further down that you go, the tighter that your hips feel and the harder it is to get them closer to the ground. And again, if you were on your hands and this is uncomfortable, go ahead and lay down. And we are going to lay all the way down now onto the mat. Keep windshield wipering your legs. And like I said, now it's really difficult to get your knees even close to the ground. Even for me, my hips are always very tight. So don't force it. Just go to where it feels comfortable. We're just going to do a couple more of these. Okay, we're going to keep your feet as wide as the mat, and we're just going to let our knees fall in towards each other. If your knees don't touch, that's okay. You can put something in between them to keep them supported. But what we want here is to just let everything relax. You should feel your low back release. You should feel a nice release in your pelvis, right across the front in your hips and in your lower back. Take your arms out by your sides. Make sure you're not hunching your shoulders up towards your ears. Make sure you're not cranking your neck. And just stay here and breathe. Nice deep breaths. And again, while we're in these poses, if any thoughts pop up, just welcome the thought and then release it and try to come back to your breath. When you're ready, if you're comfortable here, you can pause the video and stay here for a bit. Otherwise, we're going to pull both knees into our chest. You don't have to squeeze, don't flex your feet. Just a nice gentle hug. Keep breathing. Again, make sure you're not hunching your shoulders up. When you're ready, we're going to plant the left foot on the floor. We're going to take both hands around the right leg. Make sure you're either holding your shin or behind your thigh. Don't hold on your kneecap. And you don't want to push. So just hold as far as the leg will go on its own and let everything relax. If you're comfortable, you can take the left leg out long and just let the foot flop open. You should feel a nice stretch across your psoas muscles, so right across the front of your right thigh and your hip. You don't want to feel any tension, just a nice release of the muscles. If you have the left leg out long, bend the knee, bring it back into your chest. Hold here for just a breath. And then we're going to plant the right foot on the floor and take both hands to the left leg. And remember, don't hold your kneecap. Either hold behind the thigh or around your shin. If this is enough, you can keep your right foot planted. If you want to go a little bit deeper, then go ahead and take your right leg out long, let the foot flop open, and just breathe. Notice if you're holding any tension anywhere. I just caught myself holding it in my shoulders. So if you notice that, just let it go. When you're ready, bend the right knee, bring both knees back into the chest, give yourself one final squeeze, and then we're going to plant both feet on the floor and slide them out nice and long. Take your legs wide, let your feet flop open, hands by your sides, snuggle your shoulder blades under your heart. Close your eyes and just let everything go. If you're in bed and you just want to end the practice here and go to sleep and you feel nice and relaxed, that's fine. If you want to pause and stay here for a little while longer, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, when you're ready, go ahead and start to wiggle the fingers, wiggle your toes. Start to make some very small circles with your wrists and ankles. We're going to go ahead and, keeping the eyes closed, unless you need to look at the video, roll over onto your right side, use your arm as a pillow. And we're going to stay here for just a minute, focus on your breath, and come back to that intention, whatever it was that you wanted to release, and really focus on just letting it go. Again, if you want to stay here longer, go ahead and pause the video and stay. Otherwise, we're going to use our left hand to push ourselves back up to seated. Try to keep the eyes closed. We're going to come back to that same position we were in when we started class. So however you were sitting, sit up nice and tall. Let your shoulders drop. Focus on your breathing, and I want you to notice how your body feels now. Were you able to release any tension? Do you feel a little lighter? And if you don't, that's okay too. But just notice how you're feeling now versus how you felt at the beginning. And stay here and just focus on the breath for a minute. ready, go ahead and flutter your eyes open. We'll take one last breath together. Bring it down through center. Just give a gentle bow. Thank you all for practicing with me.